Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
Biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Football Sunday. The NFL is among us. You are listening to the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation, and I'm pretty excited to get my man, the evil genius, on. Dr. Dan, what is going on, my man?
Hey, man, what's going on? Long time no talk.
I know. It's been forever since you've been on. You've been on like a hiatus, but welcome back.
Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, man, no, I was all set to go before some fool robbed us, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
But, you know, the unavoidable things, and, you know, business has been keeping me busy, but, you know, the business of winning is still going good.
The business of winning is still going good. Well, you know what? Speak for yourself, brother, because I had one of the worst days of my college football year yesterday. Could not pick my nose as far as the games were concerned, brother. You know what? It started out, I didn't give it out on the show, but I got a little bit of Troy. That didn't work. And then I started messing around a little bit with some spreads. That didn't work. And the over came to form in the Wisconsin-Penn State game, which I had the under on. So whatever. It is what it is. How'd you do?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, you know, look, there were a couple smaller bets that didn't work out. I had a second half bet on Oklahoma State. The real heartbreaker was really Wisconsin because, man, I mean, just choke to death.
Big time.
But my biggest play of the day, which I gave out in some of my DM groups, and guys, if you ever want anything that I'm rolling on, just DM me. I'll throw it out to anybody through DM. I don't care.
Sure.
But the La Tech Western Kentucky over. For anybody that knows me, those are two teams I've been following all year.
Yep.
That was my biggest play of the day, was the over 80, and that game went over 100. So, you know, I told you before the show, man, I was talking myself off the ledge for throwing another G on it before the game. I was like, I got to lay back. But it was good. It was good. So we'll get it back for you today, though, brother. I think the card looks good for NFL.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, there's a lot of key matchups going on here. And, you know, we got the injury report set. We've got the weather all set. We've got the defensive and offensive rankings all set, all the trends, everything to go on to make intelligent wagers today as far as the NFL is concerned, Dan. So, guys, we're waiting momentarily. Hopefully we can get the dream on. We're trying to get both guys on at the same time, so bear with us, and we will do the best we can to make that work. So, Dan, I mean, hey, college football playoff. We got to have a conversation about it. Okay,
yes,
because you know what? We're looking at it here, and obviously, I mean, you know, there's no question Alabama's the clear number one. There's no question that the Clemson Tigers will be in there. There's no there's no question that, in my opinion, that the Washington Huskies will be in there.
Oh, I think there's a question.
You think so, huh?
I think there's a big question on 3 and 4. And I have a real problem. And look, I know what the scouts or the scouts. I know what the analysts and the committee is saying about the depth of talent at Ohio State being far superior to that of Penn State. Did Penn State not just have an incredible victory on the field?
I agree.
For probably the toughest conference in, I mean, hands down, I would say that conference was stingier than the SEC this year.
Yep.
I have a real problem not having Penn State in, but I also, you know, so if it was me, this is how I go. I think you're right. Maybe I guess I put Washington in there, and I love Washington. I just think Ohio State's a better team, and I'd like to see him in there. That being said, I guess I would go Washington 3 and Penn State 4.
Penn State number 4. Well, is very interesting because you have a one-loss Ohio State University, and who beat Michigan, by the way, but lost to Penn State. So on a head-to-head situation, Penn State is the better team, and they have a conference championship under their belt, on their resume.
Yeah, and the way that the committee works, too, and tell me if you follow me on this. Remember how tough Wisconsin played Ohio State, right?
Right.
And then you have Penn State that also came back and beat Wisconsin, and top of the head-to-head win. I just don't see how you can hold them out. That would be... I mean, look, all it's telling me is that, and I've been screaming about this for years, I'm not one of those that want to go to, like, a big basketball-style tournament, but I want 6 or 8 teams.
I agree.
I would love to see, like, Alabama and Clemson get buys, and then, like, Western Michigan is the 8th seed playing, like, Washington.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. You know, and then you could get Ohio State and Penn State in there.
Yep.
You know, but until that happens, this controversy is going to keep happening. I think that, you know, look, if they should make a change right now, just give Alabama a bye and then get 4 other teams in there.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess they have a couple of years left as far as this is concerned, as far as the contract, when they expanded it just from a national championship to, you know, with 2 teams where they went to 4 teams. So I think we're stuck with this for at least a couple more years. But
is there a contract on it? I thought they had room to get out of it, but I could be wrong.
That's my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the way it's all shaken out as far as I'm concerned and what I've heard as far as rumblings. So anyway, hey, you know what? Even 6 teams, Dan, would work.
Yep.
I think 8 teams would be even better. You know, you have like,
I would,
you know,
yeah, I mean,
just
the 8, just because I would love to get a team like a Western Michigan, like a non-conference. And look, I know everybody's saying they have no chance, but you know what? I would love to see them get a shot, especially if they go undefeated.
I agree. Maybe what you do is you have all of your conference champions, you know what I'm saying, you know, as far as the, you know, the big conferences are concerned. And then, you know, I mean, you even got to slide a team in like Oklahoma, you know?
Well, yeah, what you could do, I mean, what you could do and what I would love to see is, you're right, you take the power conference champions, so you automatically have 4 in.
Yep.
And then you have 4 spots left where you basically combine the Power 4 again and then the group of 5 that they call, right? Like the MAC and all that. And you basically do it like a wild card system.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be fantastic.
You know, so that would be fun. But until that happens, look, I think Penn State's going to get screwed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unfortunately. And look, if you tell me Penn State playing Alabama, that game could be on the moon. Alabama's going to beat them by 40.
Yeah.
But they deserve to be there.
I know. I mean, and watching Alabama yesterday, I mean, I may be standing corrected here because I've been saying for like the last 2 months that I did not think Alabama would win a national championship just because of their inexperience in the quarterback position. But, Dan, this defense can carry that. I mean, the defense and the special teams, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, Dream and I, as far as Alabama, as far as not taking it. You know, my concern as far as taking the under in that game was that Alabama's defense can score. So I said, you know what? I'm not even going to get involved in that. And sure enough, I mean, they did. And I wish there was a prop on
I mean,
that.
what they do is very much, they follow that NFL playbook. They put a lot of emphasis on special teams, a lot of emphasis on defense, and they're by far, I mean, if you're really ranking teams, Alabama's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, I really don't think there's another team that's close to them.
No, I agree. I mean, they just look super good. And they're not dazzling you offensively at all. Although they did put up a lot of points yesterday.
They always put up, they don't dazzle you at all, but they run on you at will. Their offensive line knocks you down at will.
Yep.
The quarterback, while he's not super accurate, he extends the play with his legs.
Yep.
You know, he makes stupid mistakes sometimes, but because the defense is so good, they can bail him out all the time.
I agree with you. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
And is it me, or does Alabama always feel like they're starting with the ball around the 50?
Pretty much.
I mean, you know.
Pretty much. So, hey, it is what it is, but that's going to do it for college football playoff. And at the end of the day today, we will know the top 4 teams. And the way it's looking, I saw some analysts that were actually picking some bold predictions on where teams are going to be playing. It looks like they're thinking Western Michigan gets into the Cotton Bowl and plays a team like Wisconsin.
I hope so. I know there was, some other talk if they were going to make it, but they deserve a big bowl game. I mean, especially after Navy got bludgeoned by Temple.
Oh yeah, Navy got murdered.
Oh my God. I mean, and look, I know a lot of people were high on Navy, but let's be realistic. I mean, Temple was a better team than Navy. So yeah, no, Western Michigan should get in against, you would think it's Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You would think. So that's going to be a great game.
It would be a great game, exactly. So we'll see what ends up going down. But by tomorrow, we should have all of that information as far as what bowl matchups are going on. And I was,
what I would love to see as far as a bowl matchup, though,
that?
and I know it's not going to happen, would be if you're getting Penn State in there, I'd love to see Penn State play Clemson.
Yeah, right.
I think that's actually an interesting game. And then
Sure.
Washington, Alabama, I think would actually be, see if they can hang.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if Browning could do anything on that defense.
You're
to be
right.
honest with you. I mean, I am not a big Browning fan at all.
I know.
I saw what USC did to him, and it just kind of had me scratching my head a little bit. So, but anyway. Dan,
by the way, future for next year, USC to make the playoff.
Possibly. They're going to have that quarterback.
That quarterback is
I know.
real good.
Very good. Very good. And I saw a potential matchup of Louisville versus Michigan, which would be
That would be
awesome.
fun. Michigan kills them. Michigan would kill
you know
them.
what? I know, because that would be a perfect matchup because the Dream was so high on Louisville this year, and I was so high on Michigan. So you know what? I would love nothing more than to see that matchup and show the Dream what Louisville really is.
Here, I mean, if you have that, because the thing is, Lamar Jackson's so good going east and west, but the Harbaugh defense has speed off the edges.
Yes.
So it'd be fun to see if he could break that down.
I agree.
By the way, he's still the Heisman, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't think anybody's even coming close to that. I mean, his numbers were just through the roof. Stupid numbers. But good morning to everybody. We are live right now on Twitter, SBTV Nation, and having a good time and getting ready to dive right into the NFL because there's a lot of games on the ticket, and we are going to get ready to rock with them. Dan, unless you have any more collegiate football to discuss.
No, sir. You know what? After the whiskey bad beat yesterday, I started looking. I was up till 2 a.m. looking at this NFL card.
Yep.
And I got my plays locked in. I'm ready to go, baby.
You're ready to go. Okay. Well, let's get right into it and have a conversation, and we will just start right off with you and see what you got first up your sleeve.
Yeah. So let's go with some early games. So here's one for you, and I'm really curious to hear your opinion. Now, remember, I'm locked in already, so
yeah, you already got your numbers in. Okay, gotcha.
I got my numbers in, but I got the Detroit Lions, and I bought it up a point to +7.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, I did not buy it up a point. I kept it at +6 at the Saints.
All right.
At the Saints, because my thoughts on this is that I'm not sure if Detroit's going to win this game or not at New Orleans. I feel like the Saints have been super overhyped as of lately. I still don't think that they're that good. And if you look at who Detroit has played lately, I understand their offense, but they played the Vikings twice in the last 3 games. The Texans have a pretty good offense. That was on the road. Other than that, I mean, they've won 6 out of 7.
Yep.
A bunch of late game wins. Their defenses look good. I think they put up 30+ points today. And it's going to come down to, again, the last 2 minutes. But give me the +6 all day.
You know what? I mean, you got this 7-4 team going into a 5-6 Saints team. Now, you got a couple of dome teams here, obviously, so I would expect some pretty high scoring in this affair. I mean, when you look at it here, I mean, the only challenge I have with Detroit, well, I have 2 challenges with Detroit. Number one is that they don't, even though they have a very good quarterback, they don't score a lot of points, Dan. They only score 22.5 points per game. And the reason why is because they have no rushing attack at all. They only average 80 yards a game on the ground. So
that is
it
true,
makes
and that's
them
bad, but they've also played the stingiest run defenses in the league.
Yeah,
as well.
okay. I got it. I mean, it makes them a very one-dimensional team here. So that's the only thing that scares me. But the reason why I'm involved in this game is because I did start Matthew Stafford as one of my daily fantasy quarterbacks today.
All right.
Because, I mean, I look at this pass defense for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, 271 yards they allow. So, I mean, I understand that Mr. Stafford should have a pretty damn good game here. And I get it, Dan. I get where you're at. I think this could be a close game. I mean, Detroit is 7-4.
I'm just +6? +6?
Yeah, I mean, you got a sub 500 team given
versus
6.
a first place 7 and 4.
I know. I see where you're going with it, and I understand.
Yeah, and not only that, but remember, the Lions have had 11 days to prepare for this game.
They have. And if you go back to last year in December, Detroit went into the Superdome and won 35-27 and beat this very same team. So you know what? Hey, I wish you the best of luck with that. I think that's a pretty good play, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
+6, I can see that game going down to a field goal, and you being all right. But it could be a stomach ache. So just be very careful.
It could be, but I'm not. I might even put a small money line on Detroit. The Lions they are a good team. For once, they are a good team, and I understand the Saints put a beating on the Rams. I understand the Rams are supposed to have a vaunted defense. They gave up 50. The Rams gave up in that game. Before that, the Saints lost to a bad Panthers team. They lost to a Broncos team, which fine, whatever, but that was still at the Superdome. This is not a very good team in the Saints. So I'm with you. What do you got, man?
All right, so I'm looking at another 1 o'clock game here. It's a very heavy spread, but
I think I'm with you.
And you know what? I mean, obviously Gronkowski is out of this game. We're looking at the LA Rams, who are 4-7, 3-3 on the road, going into the 9-2 New England Patriots. New England -13 with an under/over of 44. So I'm looking at now. Here's the challenge I have here. Beginning of the week, I was all Patriots, like the whole way, and there's no way I would ever take the Rams. I would be like, it'd be 14-0 in the first quarter. I'd be kicking myself. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm looking at what the New England Patriots have had as far as injuries are concerned. Now, obviously Gronkowski's out. I'm seeing Bennett is questionable. I'm seeing Chris Hogan is questionable. But yeah, I mean
Bennett is playing.
Bennet's playing. What about Chris Hogan? You have him?
I gotta find Hogan. Let's see, Chris. Still game time decision. It looks like,
all right, because he's been really good. But I mean, when you got this Rams team.
Oh, out of New England, Patriots news. So this is from, and guys, remember, we always preach this. Look at your local papers. This was published at 9:09 this morning. It looks like that they all, Brady, obviously, who's always on the injury report, Bennett, Edelman, and Hogan, all good to go today versus the Rams.
All right, fantastic. All right, so New England Patriots, I mean, especially if all those guys are good to go, with or without Gronk. I mean, you have the two-headed monster there when you had Gronk and Martellus Bennett as far as
most underrated tight end in football.
Right. So if he's good to go, he's definitely a good fantasy pickup, I'd say, as far as the tight end is concerned. When I look at the LA Rams, Dan, the LA Rams are one of the worst offenses in all of football.
Dumpster fire. Jeff Fisher must be Jesus Christ to keeping his job.
And they keep hiring him other places too. Which is crazy.
Dude, he's terrible.
You have one of the best, most prolific offenses in the game today, playing the worst offense in football, being the LA Rams. They are
and
all
a defense that
just
gave up 49 points.
Yeah, right. 295 yards offensively per game they're averaging. So you know what? Honestly, I could see this game being a blowout, to be honest with you. I think the New England Patriots are going to get it done. I'm going to mix and match this somehow. Obviously, I'm not going to moneyline it because it pays nothing. But I may get this under a touchdown. I like the Pats to win by 10 or more today. I think that's a really good play. What's your thoughts?
I locked in the -13.5 last night.
Okay.
Because I thought that, you might get a change in line movement. And from what I read, look, it's gambling for a reason. But when you're investing, right, and you're looking, sometimes it behooves you when there's injuries, right? You got to use your best judgment call. And yeah, maybe it would have bit me in the ass if all those guys who are listed as questionable came out today and weren't playing.
Yep.
But I got the -13.5. It's now down to 13, which I'm like really shocked about. I think the Patriots blow their doors off.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I just, look, I think at this point in their careers, Brady's still probably the best in the league.
Sure.
You have the best coach in the league by far. And then, like you said, you have a defense that just gave up 49 points in the Rams. You don't think that Belichick's going to look at that tape and be like, okay, exploitation A, B, C, D, and E. Here we go. All our guys are healthy. And not only that, I don't know if the Rams get in the end zone today.
Yeah, I mean,
that might be a prop bet. I'm not saying a shutout. They might get a couple field goals. I don't think the Rams get a touchdown today.
You know, and the New England Patriots, believe it or not, I mean, they don't get a lot of credit for their defense, but they don't allow over 100 yards rushing per game. It's 99.5. And you got you got a team here at the LA Rams that obviously, you know, Todd Gurley was a phenom last year, but you know, this year has not been all that. And they're only averaging 83 yards on the ground per game. It's so lopsided here, dude.
Oh, and the thing is, and I know everybody's going to say, oh, Goff looks so good. Goff looks so good at times.
Yeah.
Dude, if you look at Bill Belichick's record against rookie quarterbacks, oh, my God.
Crazy.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I gotta look at this, and maybe someone from the nation can weigh in. I don't know if Bill Belichick's ever lost a game to a rookie quarterback.
All right, well, I'd love to know those numbers.
At least with the Patriots.
All right, sounds good. So moving on here, what's the next game up your sleeve?
Yeah, so I'm gonna move into our 4:00 hour.
All right,
and I am gonna go with the Oakland Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders, who a lot of people are thinking can make the Super Bowl this year, brother. I don't see it, but go for it.
See, I'm one of them.
Okay.
I am one of them.
9-2, 4-2 at home.
I think that Oakland, you play who the schedule plays, and they've beaten everybody on their schedule.
Yep.
You know, this is a team that has gone on the road to the East Coast and won.
Yep.
Look, I understand they had a bad game against the Chiefs, and that series is always crazy. And if they play each other in the playoffs, it'd be great to rekindle that old school rivalry.
Yep.
But that being said, the Raiders' weakness obviously is the secondary.
Sure.
There's been a lot of teams with weak secondaries that have won Super Bowls. They're strong in the lines on both sides. I mean, they have one of the best defensive players in the game. The quarterback, in my opinion, is the best under 3-year quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, I agree with you.
And that includes Andrew Luck in there.
Oh,
And I'll throw in Andrew. I think Derek, dude, he is pinpoint accurate. You know who he reminds me of is Brett Favre.
Okay.
But with less mistakes. He throws a crazy ball. He comes with a pedigree. Like the way he thinks about the game, like if you read about him, this is a kid that has been, on NFL and collegiate field since he was young. Remember, I mean, his brother was a punching bag for the Texans for a while. So this is a quarterback that I believe in. And now you got a home game against Buffalo today, 4:05 p.m. start. I think that Oakland actually blows their doors off, and I got this at -3.
-3 points. I mean, that does seem a little low, doesn't it?
I'm just not sure what the I mean, look, maybe this is a trap. Put the hook in my mouth and reel me in then. The Bills are not that good. And I think what the books are looking at is that Seattle game where they lost by 6 and they actually put up some points on Seattle. I don't know. This is the same team that lost to your Dolphins. Mm-hmm. They gave up 19 points at LA, even though they won it. I'm like, well, 19 points for LA is like 50 for Oakland.
Sure.
So, but and they're traveling across country. I love, this is one of my favorite games in the card today.
Well, you got a total of 48.5. And I'm just going to say this, that both of these teams have been going over like a lot. I mean, when you look at both Buffalo, 6 out of their last 7 games have gone over, and the last 5 Raider games have all gone over. Raiders give up 273 yards in their secondary per game through the air. And when you look at it here, Oakland's averaging about 4 touchdowns a game, 27.9 points. And Buffalo, believe it or not, Dan, 25.5 points per game. This one may hit an over. And I may consider going with a teaser situation and getting this total down to like a 41.5. Because I really think there's going to be a lot of points here. I think you could see like
you might be right.
27-20 final, or
you could even, I mean, if you want to do like a 3-team 7.5 pointer, because then you could bring I mean, you could bring the Raiders up to +4 at a 7-point, and then bring the over to 41.5, or if you do 7.5, get it to 41.
Yeah.
So then you do that, and maybe if you really like the Patriots, you can get them under a touchdown and make that your third team.
All right, so Vegas Girl just sent me the stats on the Bill Belichick record versus rookie quarterbacks. In the last 16, 11-5, Dan.
Against rookie quarterbacks?
Against rookie quarterbacks, yeah. He's got 5 losses there.
I wonder what...
Wow. Interesting.
That's not. I mean, that's good, but it's not as good as I thought it would be.
All right, and then my man OJFB is saying Bills don't turn the ball over, 6 turnovers all season, and run the ball well. That's why. You know what? I'm leaning over in this game. In a team situation.
The Bills. Here's another prop bet for you: Bills under 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, you think so? Against
if they're going to win, they're going to have to throw the ball.
They're going to have to throw the ball. Okay. All right. So moving on, unless you got anything else on that game.
No, sir. I just that did open up that teaser for me, so I'm liking that. I know we didn't really talk about it, but if you go back to 1 o'clock, because you have a pretty big spread with the Texans and the Packers, but you can flip that and get the Packers basically money line, get the Raiders at +4, and then get the Patriots under a touchdown.
Okay,
I like that teaser.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's move on and let's talk about that. Let's go right into the Green Bay Packers versus the Houston Texans. And you got Green Bay -6.5 with an under-over of 44.5 points. And the question mark that Dan and I were talking about before the show was, is Aaron Rodgers suiting up and playing? He has a hamstring injury. Now, the only concern you'd have in taking the Green Bay Packers today is that a hamstring injury, if he starts running the ball, because he doesn't have a lot of weapons, and this guy likes to run. If he pulls that and he's out,
but here's the
thing.
Dealing
with?
He's not going to feel that leg at all.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm not sure how bad the hamstring injury was, because look, there's anybody who's ever pulled a hamstring, and I've done it multiple times, and then I've also torn a hamstring, right, which is like a pull of the most severe, where it's like you're not walking, and then we've all tweaked it. So he's obviously been getting work done all week. There is that concern, but I mean, I don't think it's going to affect his arm. And I don't like the -6.5, but I like the Packers to win the game.
Okay.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out of this game. Aaron Rodgers, for everything that people want to say about him and all his stupid, silly commercials, he's a pretty tough dude. He does not come out of games. He plays through a bunch of injuries. And I just don't think that Houston is going to be able to still defend all of Green Bay's receivers. And I think, Houston's offense doesn't really do it for me. I think Green Bay takes them at home.
Yeah, I mean, Houston only averages 17.6 points per game. Brock Osweiler, I believe, is one of the worst quarterbacks in the game right now, personally.
Oh,
I've watched him, and I look what he does. He just seems uncomfortable in the pocket. He overthrows receivers. He throws the ball on the ground. He holds the ball a long time at times. This guy, he just does nothing for me whatsoever.
By the way, it will be 30 degrees and snowing in Green Bay.
All right.
I'm all over, dude. You know what?
Under?
I'm lined it up. I now will be taking the Packers minus the 6.5.
Minus the 6.5.
Yeah, you know what? In that weather, and I know the Tundra isn't what the Tundra was, in terms of Houston going, I mean, have they played? I can't remember the last time Houston's played a cold weather snow game. No, and I really just love the Packers in that situation, but I'm definitely going with that teaser.
Well, just so you know, in case you're thinking about taking a total here, just to let you know what's going on in the Tundra, 9 of the last 11 games in Green Bay have all gone under, Dan. And I'm sure the snow will help that a little bit.
It'll either help that, but remember, I can't remember, what was the game a year or two ago where it was a blizzard, and I remember me, you, and the Dream were all like, let's ride that under, and there was like 80 points scored, and I'm trying to remember what game it was, and I was like, so no, I hear you. I think if I was going to look at totals, I might look at a Houston Texans team total under.
Got it. Well, you know what? Here, you got a couple of other things to look at. Houston's 1-4 in the last 5 games on the road. Okay? That's number one. Number two, my man Killer Cam is telling me that Clowney is out today.
Okay.
So that's another reason to get on the Green Bay bandwagon. And, just overall, I think that Green Bay has to win this game. They're 5-6, Dan. If they go to 5-7, I think they're done.
It's a big problem, especially if the Lions knock off New Orleans today, which I think is very possible.
Yeah, right. Very good point. So
then what? The Lions would be 8-5. They would be 5-7 or 5-8.
The Lions would be 8-4 if they win.
8-4, and then so they would be what? 3.5 games behind them.
Something like that.
Yeah, at that point, it's almost impossible. And then, if you start looking at wild cards, Minnesota, the Giants, you're not. Unless those teams absolutely go in the tank, which Minnesota kind of is, but they still have. Yeah, and, Green Bay's fight. This is a must-win for Green Bay.
Oh, big time. Big time. I like Green Bay. I think you talked me into taking them money line. Maybe
you can. Because you can get them. Again, if you want a 7-point tease or money line parlay them, definitely a great spot there.
All right, guys, just real quick. This just in: Jeff Fisher is getting a 2-year contract extension for the Rams.
No, no, you're kidding, right? You're trolling.
No, it's trending number 1 on Twitter right now.
Jesus God!
And listen
this
to this:
guy.
If the Rams lose today to New England, which they're going to, Jeff Fisher will have only 6 winning seasons in 22 total seasons coached.
What does Jeff Fisher have on people in the NFL?
I don't know, man.
This guy has to be a blackmail artist.
He is a very, very good con man. Because
oh my God! Look, you want to tell me that Jeff Fisher's been in the league for 22 years as like a D coordinator? I would understand, right? I get it, but this guy has been involved in. People forget this is a guy that was involved in like Bounty Gate stuff. This is a guy that was involved. Again, and he just doesn't win, and he's an idiot.
Yeah, right.
He's an idiot. I could outcoach Jeff Fisher. God bless him. God bless him. 2 years. Great, LA. Great. Good.
2 more years. Unbelievable.
The only coach that I think might be worse right now is Kelly. He might be worse. And and that's even talking about the Browns.
Very good point.
Niners coach is worse. He should be running back to Oregon right about now.
All right. So we're going to move over to another game that I think could be the upset of the day.
All right.
And people are going to think I'm crazy. But Trevor Siemian is out. And you've got the Denver Broncos, who are 7-4, going into a team that needs a win more than anybody. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denver is -3.5 with an under-over of 38.5. Dan, for some reason, I think the Jags can pull the upset today. I don't know why, and I'm not betting the game. I think so. I really think so.
Sir, El Mucho Cajones. That's what I got to say about that.
That's my upset special today. My upset special.
2-9. Losers of 6 in a row.
They need a win.
They need a win.
They need a win.
But here's the other thing. Do they need a win, or are they coaching to lose to try and secure that number 1?
I don't believe in that.
You might not believe in that, but if I'm the owner of the Jaguars right now, I'm looking at my coach. I'm saying, you win this. If you win this damn game, I'm firing you.
Who is going to be the quarterback?
Because you're in a fight with San Francisco right now for the number 2 overall pick.
Yep. Wow.
Good. Look, I get it. You going +3.5, or are you teasing it up to 10.5?
Denver has a very good defense. We all know that. And the defense can keep them in the game. I just think that I don't know why.
Dude, they're gonna get killed.
You really think they're gonna get killed, huh?
Oh, they're gonna get freaking murdered. I almost swore that's how. They got
a pretty good defense, right?
Dude, they might. I'm just looking at, and I understand, but Paxton Lynch, okay, is not horrible. I think he might be better than Siemian.
Okay.
And I don't know. I look at the losses that Denver has. Good Falcons team, Chargers team. I mean, dude, Denver is 7-4 and they're in third place. You want to talk about must win? You know, they're looking at the schedule, and this is, I mean, they got at Jaguars, at Titans. They have to win both of those to get to 9 wins. And then their next 3 games, Patriots, at Kansas City, and then against Oakland, who beat the crap out of them. So, like, this is, you know, they have to win these next 2, because when you look at that schedule, if they don't get to 9 wins, this is a team, I mean, they're probably not making the playoffs anyway. But, man, that's the only thing. And I hate to talk you off it, because I'm not going to play it. And I'll wish you the best of luck. I got no love for Denver.
I don't think I'm going to play it.
It's a tough spot.
I don't think I'm going to play it. But you know what? And I'm looking at 4s here as far as Denver's concerned being favored. You know what? I just see a home team underdog, Dan. You know how I feel about those?
Oh, I know.
And I just think that this might be the upset
you know,
of the
here's
day.
the thing. I think if you included it in part of a 7-point tease and got them up to plus 10.5, plus 11, depending on how you get it. Because now I'm seeing Denver down to 3 on my book.
Okay.
Now. So if you know, maybe you do that, but I'm just going to stay away from this. I think Paxton Lynch does enough. And again, the defense of Denver is so good that you don't want to end up down 14-0 on like a strip sack and a pick 6.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, I'm looking at Jacksonville and their losses, Dan. I mean, they don't get blown out that much. You know, they got blown out versus San Diego, and they got blown out
and they
versus
lost
Oakland.
by 17 home against Oakland.
Right, and San Diego.
14 at Tennessee, 5 at Kansas City, 3 against the Texans at home, but then a touchdown at the Lions, which it wasn't really that close, and a touchdown at the Bills, which it wasn't, But, I mean, you're only talking 3 points, right? So, like I said, maybe if you get it up to 10. But, man, I just think that's a bad spot for Jacksonville.
OJFB is telling me Lynch is worse than Osweiler. Nice.
Lynch, here's the thing. Lynch is not, I'm not saying he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think he's better than Osweiler.
And my man Irvin's telling me that he has the Broncos in a survivor pool, so he hopes the Jags lose, but Paxton Lynch worries him.
Best of luck, Irvin.
All right, so let's move on, Dan. That's my upset special of the day. Just so
All
you know.
right.
Let's move over to 1 o'clock and talk about the Eagles going into the 3-7-1 Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals minus 1.5, over of 42 points. What's the weather here, Dan, in Cincinnati, Ohio today?
Trying to see. So there is snow in part of the country. Do we have what is
pulling it up right now? But when I look at this particular game here, and I look at what the Eagles do on the road, guys, they're 1-5 on the road. This team, they're almost got like the Minnesota Vikings thing going on here. They started out really strong and have now fallen big time. Yeah, and I believe that Marvin Lewis is close to being fired, to be honest with you.
He's got to be. And by the way, we're looking at 45 degrees, possible rain showers, but they might not hit till 3 or 4, so you never know, but it looks okay.
Okay, and that A.J. Green is out of this game with the hamstring injury, so he is gone. And looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, let's see what they got going on for injuries, guys. If you give me 1 second as I pull it up. Jordan Matthews he's expected to be out there. So but Ryan Matthews is out. This one here, man, it just looks like a low-scoring affair, doesn't it? Doesn't seem like a knockdown, drag-out affair.
Not touching this game with a 10-foot pole.
You're not touching.
I just don't. There's so many. And you got to remember, not just for the injuries that are on the report, but like Gio Bernard's not there, and I feel like he could have made a difference because like the Eagles are a little soft in the middle. The Eagles are so bad on the road, like you touched on. But Cincinnati's just, again, they remind me of like the Giants last year, where they just find ways to give away games and lose games. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you're talking only 2 points here. Now, I think if you flip the script, and again, I think this is a teaser-friendly card. If you tell me that you're getting 7 on Cincinnati, even 6, so you're flipping it to 4 +4 or +5.
Yeah, I see it.
I see that. I get that. And I think that they might win the game, but I can't touch it. These are two. I mean, look, the Eagles are better than it's like they're the middle of the two averages. They're not as bad as the losing streak and not as good as the winning streak. But they're not a bad team, and they play in what's the toughest division right now, I think, in football.
Sure.
So that being said, I think this game is a stomachache throughout. So if you're going to play it, God bless you and your intestinal fortitude.
All right, sounds good. So, do you have any other things on the card at 1:00?
At 1:00, no.
All right.
No, I don't. I've looked at a couple other things. You want to go into San Francisco, Chicago?
Why do
No, I
I?
can't.
Oh my
That
God! 1
game
in 10.
just makes one-
1 in 10. 49ers versus the 2-9 Bears. Talk to me
the
about
Bears
this.
are trying to lose this game, right?
Ah.
I believe that this happens because here's the thing. You're talking, again, draft.
All right.
If the Bears can secure, if they manage to lose this game,
Yep.
they're both 2-9.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a head-to-head. So, again, the Bears, I think, would move in the second pick.
Yeah, I mean, because you have a head-to-head. So this would make the Niners 2-10 and the Bears 2-10 if the Bears lost.
Right.
Dan, I don't know. I don't buy that. The Bears, their 2 wins that they have are at home.
Of course, but I just the thing is as much as I hate Cap, right? He's trying to play for a spot in the league still.
Yeah,
so
I see that.
I feel like there's motivation there.
Yep.
And I feel like this Bears defense is still really bad. The offense is really, I don't know. I mean, the Bears defense is not terrible, but it's like their offense is so bad and puts them in so many bad positions. I almost want to take San Francisco, but I'm going to stay away from it just because I don't want to put my eyes on it.
San Francisco is a favorite today in Chicago.
There's
the
a
Chicago
reason
Bears
for that.
only average 16 points a game.
When is the last time you've seen a 1-9 team as a road favorite?
I can't remember.
So there's something to be said. I know with your competitive juices and my competitive juices, you can never get us to lay down. But again, you have to look at it strategically.
Sure.
I'm not saying that, the players on the field are necessarily going to lose the game, but there's no reason why. Like if I'm the coach and I'm at 1-9 or 2-9, I'm playing my third and fourth stringers because I want to see what they can do.
Yeah, right.
I want to see if there's anybody worth keeping, and probably not. And I think it's going to be a sloppy, dirty game, and San Francisco comes out and actually wins.
Well,
it.
if there's any chance of anybody doing anything for the Chicago Bears offensively, it would be in this game because San Francisco is the worst defense in all of football. They give
if
up,
Alshon Jeffrey wasn't suspended, I would agree with you.
They give up 31.3 points per game, 424 yards defensively they allow. So I mean, if you're a fantasy player, you probably get some Bears players at a pretty cheap price today, and it might work out for you. So looking at this game here, Dan, there is no way in hell I would ever put my money on this. No way in hell.
Take the San Francisco defense in fantasy.
Yeah.
Be the play of the day,
I
the
think
underdog
I think
play
you
of
get them
the
for
day.
like $2,000.
Watch, they're gonna. I'm gonna do it in a daily fantasy league.
There you go.
Just one, and because they're gonna have like 4 picks and wind up scoring like 30 points and making me like $5 million.
Yes,
and people will
sir.
be like, "How'd you do it?" It was
Right
the
on.
Niners.
All right, let's go over to my team. Let's have a
do it.
conversation about the Miami Dolphins, who are one of the hottest teams in football outside of Dallas. 7-4, winners of 6 straight, going into a 6-5 Baltimore Ravens team. Baltimore minus 3.5 with an under over 41.5. I'm going to get your thoughts before I share mine.
So, you know me, I love to hate Baltimore.
I know you do.
I love to hate Baltimore, and here's the thing, I'm looking at Miami's winning streak, and look, again, you play the teams that are on your schedule,
Right.
But so the last loss was a home loss to Tennessee, but then The Steelers was a great win.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills at home was still a good win.
Yep.
The Jets, even though it was close, right? Still, those games are always crazy. And then at the Chargers and at LA, and then the Niners game though was not that impressive. God, I think Miami wins this
You
game.
really think so, huh? Wow. Which I would love.
I know, of course you would. But here's why I stay away from it. I just still don't think that the Ravens are a very good football team.
I'm with you.
I think that the Dolphins are good at stopping the one guy that you need to. And again, stop Steve Smith, okay, and get to Flacco a little bit, and he gets rattled. That's what the Dolphins can do, and they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens defense does nothing to really impress me. I think Miami wins this. This game reminds me, and I know this game is in Baltimore. I mean, this is a Ravens team that lost to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I think your Dolphins going to win here, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just kind of share a couple of points here. Now, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, guys, and I would love to see them win. I've called them as a 10-6 team. I've been saying that all year long, and they're close to it, Dan. That they would have to be 3-2 to end their season to be a 10-6 team. I would hit it right on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Calling 2 losses in there, and unfortunately, I don't see them getting out of Baltimore today with a win. I don't. I'm going to tell you why. Tannehill's had success because they've established this massive running game with Ajayi. The problem is that the Baltimore Ravens are the best rush defense in the NFL. They only allow 74.9 yards on the ground per game. I think Ajayi is going to have a tough time running the ball on this defense. I think it's going to force Tannehill into some situations he doesn't want to be in. I'm not a fan of Baltimore. I think Baltimore is, like you said, like a middle-of-the-road team, even though they're right smack in the middle of, being a first-place team in their division. They only average 19.8 points a game. I think this game is going to be an ugly, nasty game. I think Baltimore can win maybe by a field goal and not cover the spread, but I don't want to get involved in it. I can't bet against the Dolphins in this game because if they beat me, I feel like crap. Not taking it, but I think Baltimore wins the game, and it pains me to say that as a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be as down. I don't know, man. That's why I don't play. I hate the Ravens. I just don't like. They're the worst first place team in the league right now.
Yeah, I know exactly. So, all right, Dan, let's move on here. We got to talk about 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, we got to talk about a game that's got your team now. We just talked about my team. Let's talk about your team. 8-3 New York Football Giants going into the 6-5 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh minus 6.5 with an under-over of 49.5. Your boys are getting no respect in this one.
No respect. No respect. It's a family battle, too,
Enlighten me.
Oh, well, ownership. Ownership is family.
Okay.
Steelers ownership and Giants ownership are basically the same family.
Okay.
If anybody's ever seen, like, the movie, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or whatever, the chick's name is Rooney Mara because she's a Mara, but they named her Rooney. And, basically that's like her godparents are the owners of the Steelers, and then her actual parents are the owners of the Giants.
Did not know that.
So it's always a familial battle between the Giants and the Steelers.
All right.
And big shout out to to all. I know we got a couple people that listen to us in Pittsburgh, but your team is overrated. Team is overrated. This is a team that lost at the Dolphins. They got bludgeoned by the Patriots at home.
No Big Ben, no.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, forget that game. Ravens game, right? Forget that game. Cowboys are really good. And then I know they beat the Browns, but they did not look great. And then you're coming off a 28-7 win at Indy, which, great, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to feel about the Colts, right? It's like, now you got the Giants. Giants obviously coming off a big winning streak. What people, I think, are looking at in this Giants win, they're saying, oh, these wins just aren't that impressive. To me, beating the Eagles was impressive. I know it was at home, but they hadn't beat the Eagles in like 2 years. I think it was 5 straight losses. You managed to win the games that are on your schedule. And look, people want to say that the Browns win wasn't impressive. They still beat an NFL team by 14 points.
Yep.
Okay?
In their building.
Mm-hmm. Now you got a Pittsburgh team that might have one of the worst defenses that Pittsburgh's seen in the last 5 years.
Yep.
This is not a Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I know we're looking at the last 2 games. They give 9 and 7 points. But if you look beyond that, a 30 spot or a 35 spot, a 21 spot, 27 points, and then the teams that they held out, they gave up 30 to your Dolphins, I think the Giants really find a way for their offense to take over this game.
Okay.
The defense is going to stop Le'Veon Bell. I am a little worried about Antonio Brown. Look, I think you have the 2 best receivers in the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fireworks. This game, Giants are covering this spread, even if they lose.
Really?
Giants are oh yeah, but look, buy it up if you want. Buy it up to a full touchdown. Buy it up to +7. Giants are covering this spread.
Okay.
The Giants always, and this is a staple of Eli Manning, play up or down to the competition. And again, guys, I just saw, I've been on NFL Network all morning, and they had a really cool comparison stat about Eli and Big Ben. Now, Big Ben has more overall wins. He's like 8th on the wins list. Eli's 12. They both have 2 Super Bowls. Eli's actually thrown more touchdown passes than Roethlisberger by a lot. And you got to say he's the more stable quarterback that's less likely to get knocked out of a game, since it's never happened, knock on wood. I just don't see, even if the Giants lose, every game they've played has been pretty close. And this is an 8-3 team, right?
Yep.
6.5 points? Come on now.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think the Giants are looking ahead.
Okay.
I don't think the Giants are looking ahead to the Cowboys game.
I'm with you. All right, so I'm looking at it here, and it's just a hard thing for me to take the New York Football Giants in Pittsburgh. When you're playing in Pittsburgh, when you're playing in Heinz Field, that's a very difficult place to play. We all know that. And you know what? I was on the wrong side when they played Dallas. I can't believe that Dallas won that game. But when you look at Pittsburgh, 7-2 straight up in the last 9 games at home, Dan. That's the only thing that concerns me here. I like the Giants' chances this year. I really do. I think they will beat the Cowboys as well, but we'll talk about that when that time comes.
That's a great matchup. It's a
very
great
good
matchup for the Giants, I think.
Yep. The thing that concerns me about the Giants is that they have no rushing game. None whatsoever. 79.5 points.
It's how you look at it. It's how you look at it. They have a very good screen game and a very good quick pass game.
Yeah.
In my opinion, passes that are thrown before the line of scrimmage, even like a forward pass, but where it's caught before the line of scrimmage, I feel like in today's NFL, that should almost be counted as a rush yard.
You know what? I agree with you on that.
But, look, yes, they don't run very well, but I don't think Pittsburgh is that good at covering the run. The Giants have been better in the run as of late. And the thing is, they're just using that run to set their pass up. And they still, I understand that Shepard didn't really get involved. Cruz is healthier. Beckham's obviously a monster. You have Shepard. And then you have guys like Will Tye that have very sure hands coming out of the tight end position. I don't know if Pittsburgh defense is going to be able to cover them. And the Giants defense is, I feel, super underrated. They are one of the better defenses in the league. So,
all right. Well, I wish you
how I feel about it.
Good luck with that one, brother.
Thanks, sir.
So we got 2 more games, and then we have the Sunday Night Football game. I'm just going to touch on these spreads. If you have any thoughts on these 2 games, Dan, feel free. I don't really have any desire to play these whatsoever. You got the Redskins at Cardinals. Cardinals -2.5 with an under over 48.5. And you got the Chargers -3.5 versus the surging Tampa Bay Buccaneers with an under over 49. Any thoughts on those 2?
So, the first one, no. I mean, I just want Arizona to win. I'm not sure. I don't trust either team really, just because it's a road game. And Arizona's looked bad though, so who knows? And then Tampa Bay. I mean, they got to be flying real high off their last 2 wins, especially. I'm not going to touch it. I think the Chargers beat them.
Okay.
But man, if that Tampa Bay defense is as good as it's looked over the last 3 games, I understand the first of those games was the Bears, but at the Chiefs, holding them to 17 points and getting a win is so impressive.
Sure.
And I mean, 5 points. I know the Seahawks offensive line is terrible. It got exploited again, but I don't know. I'm going to stay away from it, but I think the Chargers though end up sneaking a win there.
All right. Sounds good. So let's talk about Sunday Night Football before we close out of here. Let's have a conversation about the rematch of last year. We got the one and only Seattle Seahawks, who are facing the defending NFC champions, the Carolina Panthers. You got Seattle minus 7.5 with an under-over of 44. Dan, what's your thoughts here? You think Seattle goes nuts?
I actually do.
Yeah, okay.
I actually do. I mean, the Panthers are as good as dead.
Pretty much.
I mean, let's be realistic here. The Panthers are as good as dead. At Seattle, I mean, it's just such a different team. I mean, Jekyll and Hyde, home and road.
Right.
I think that last week was that classic look-ahead game.
Mm-hmm.
They went on the road at Tampa Bay. It was early for them, and their offense did nothing. Panthers' defense has been so bad. I think Seattle finds a way to put up at least 3 touchdowns, and that's going to be all she needed, for that win. I actually am on Seattle, and I got it at -7.
All right, you're -7 with them. I agree
bought
with
a
you,
half
Dan.
point.
You know what? And this sucks. I mean, I thought Carolina would be much better. I mean, with the absence of Josh Norman, I mean, that secondary has just been a completely different situation. And you know what? I mean, they've definitely the defenses in the league have adjusted to Cam Newton big time. And he is getting hit and knocked around left and right. And from what I understand, last year he tore up the 12-man flag for Seattle. That's what the Dream was telling me the other day. Carolina's 1-6 straight up in the last 7 games on the road. They're not getting it done. Seattle is one of the best home teams in the league. I like Seattle to get the job done and win this game. So I'm going to take Seattle. I believe. But I'm going to do it as a money line. I'm going to mix it up with some stuff today.
I hear you. No, I hear you. I'm with you. Hey, and one stat that I saw just come up real quick, if you're still on the fence about the Patriots game, they're actually, since 2010, without Gronkowski in the lineup, 12-6.
Interesting.
So that's a great winning percentage in the NFL alone. But I mean, without Gronk, it's like, and here's the thing again, Bennett underrated. He will score. That's another prop that I think I might take. Bennett to score a touchdown.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I mean back to the night game real quick. I just think that the Panthers know that they're dead in the water. I think one more win by Atlanta with a loss by Carolina might even eliminate them from playoff contention. Because if they win out now, even if they won out, that's 9 wins.
9-7, right.
Not doing it because all the Giants need is another win, and then they got the wild card, I think, win or 2. But, that being said, I just, you're right. They ripped up that 12-man flag. Cam is a baby too. I mean, that's all that's shown me. He gets hit, he cries. He's kind of like your boy. He's kind of like LeBron, but like a young LeBron. When LeBron would get like hacked in the post, and all I do is cry, and then he'd let some dude go down and dunk on him.
Yeah.
But Cam lets it affect him on the field.
Got it.
Cam lets it affect him on the field. So if he gets licked a couple times, but then again, also watch out because the officiating is going to be hyper vigilant, and I hope this doesn't turn into a flag fest.
Could be. So you know what? Hey, it is what it is, and Dan, that's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
So
hopefully the officiating's good today.
Yeah, hopefully the officiating's good. It's going to be a great day of football. Gotta love Sundays, guys. You gotta love me having a family party today. So
no, you don't,
dude. You know how that goes. Seems like every Sunday I got something else going on. But whatever, it is what it is, and I'll keep it moving. But it's early. It's early, so hopefully I can get that done and be a wrap with that. So
I am. She my wife knows it's on the calendar, like Sundays.
Yeah,
by
right.
12:55 p.m. By 12:55 p.m. I am on my couch.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. That's a wrap.
Right. That's right. So, all right, man. What do you got to do? Who are you taking today, Dan?
Yeah, so we're going to throw this out. We're going to go Lions plus the 6, Patriots minus the 13.5, the Raiders minus the 3. I'm throwing a Giants money line play out there. Seahawks minus the 7. And then I got this 7-point teaser with the Packers plus a half, Patriots down to minus 6, and the Raiders up to plus 4. And that's a plus money 7-point tease.
There you go.
So
All right.
best of luck to everybody in the nation. It's nice to finally join you guys again. I know it's tough, dude. I've been moving. I've been working like crazy. I hope that I get a little bit of consistency here and there. But I love everybody. Always feel free to DM me. Hit me up on Twitter, Dr. Dan Evil Genius. I look forward to communicating with everybody. Best of luck on this football Sunday.
All right, sounds good. So I'm looking at a couple of matchups here. I am looking at Green Bay Packers to win the game. I am going to get involved with this overplay with the Buffalo Bills versus the Oakland Raiders and get that tease down a touch, maybe like 41, 42 points, something like that. And I may possibly close it out with the Seattle Seahawks on a money line situation. So that's going to do it for me, Dan. And let's get up out of here. What you got to do to close out?
Yeah, man. Already said my thanks to everybody again. Feel free. Hit me up for anything that you're thinking about. I know we're about to start getting a little heavier into college basketball, starting a little later this year. Mm-hmm. But that's just because the college football and the NFL has actually gone somewhat well.
Yes, sir. All right.
So love everybody. It's nice to be on with you again, brother. Best of luck out there.
All right. Sounds good, guys. We love you to death. Go out there. Go easy on this Sunday afternoon. And whatever it is, do whatever it is you got to do whatever it is you want to do in life and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.